one of the daughters, Aquilaris. Of course, considering our command structure is either killed, dead, or fled, I suppose there is room to move up in the organization soon. Perhaps individuals more predisposed to being on friendly terms.
My vampiric touch is still up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming it hasn't been a minute because the comment just ended.
Yeah.
And like I don't touch him, but like I kind of like raise my hand to like pat him on the shoulder, like reaching for him.
Mm-hmm.
And go. We don't need you to be friendly with us. We need you to be friendly with everyone.
It is that can be arranged. I am a very friendly fellow.
I will insight that, and I will touch him regardless of the insight result.
Oh shit! Are you going for the zap?
I mean, I'm not gonna straight attack him, but if he doesn't move, I will touch him. Damn.
I mean, he definitely like rotates his shoulder to not get vampiric touched if you're not attacking him.
Yeah.
And he says, that won't be necessary. And as for organized beings this year, I mean, he's probably not like a friendly guy, but he doesn't necessarily want to go out and kill people. And he says, events have obviously been put in strong motion by a certain event. You might be aware of our founder, Abrota Aquilaris.
Wait, was Cabancho with them when that happened?
No.
Orochi
else
was
is
with
there,
them.
though.
You were fucking dead. You know that.
Everyone else is there. Lee, real quick, is there anything I could do here? My investigation was 12. If not, I'm just gonna go walk back to the room.
Roll a d12, a d4 for your blast to see if you can get a little bit better.
Oh yeah, I also have a D4.
12.
You surmise that what you surmise is a bunch of vampires came here, then there was a collapse, and then Galgair sort of hunted them around. And maybe there's still some vampires hiding, but they're not hiding here. Cabancho.
My bless gives me
15.
a total of 15.
Yeah, I mean, Mercarian probably doesn't love, fights or anything, but Mercarian is expected to be good at them for, advancement in the organization. But Mercarian doesn't want to fight you, and Mercarian isn't, like, particularly, like, loyal unto death or anything.
Can you tell us what they wanted in the first place? Maybe can come to some negotiation?
Well, the organization was a very traditional wait-and-see, long-form scheme kind of organization. So, what anybody wanted was anybody's guess, but you could see where the factions were headed. Overall, it was the desire that the Gorian territories and city-states slowly be brought together, with some debate as to whether or not that needed to happen outside of the Empire, or whether doing it within the Albarian Empire was amenable. And then there was the matter of control of trade and lineal connections to old money ties to the region that tried to keep out new economic forces. Aside from that, there were certain supernatural considerations, but everything was very under control. That all changed when the founder came. We thought she was destroyed, honestly. I suppose some people will tell you differently, but they're all liars and cads. Abrota herself, alive. There are some people who thought she was a myth, made up to justify the organization. But no, she lived. She met with the founders. Not with the founders, but with the ranking members of our organization, and lit a fire under them. The conversation, which I was only able to eavesdrop part of, seemed to be wide-ranging and insightful, but there are events in motion in Ischydonian now, given that she has returned. I believe she was heading to 2 other sites. One of them contained some ancient goods of hers she thought might still be preserved.
When Tinto walks in, he's like, "Oh hey, you're still alive. Cool." can answer my question.
Well, technically speaking, I've been dead the whole time.
Don't get smart with me.
I wouldn't dream of it.
As you shouldn't. What do they want to do? What were these guys doing? Why do they want to be in Atigoras?
Why do they want Atigoras? Well, some of us still remember when Atigoras was a proud city-state that held many lands adjoining it. And those vampires wanted to see it reunited with its territory.
No. Was it this part? Or is it just these vampires that want that? Or are there more? Are there more vampires planning to do something over there?
And he says, well, it's a popular policy within Ischydonian. To be quite frank, it's not limited to vampires. However, there is more nostalgia for us. Although there are, of course, vampires in Atigoras who wouldn't be interested in any sort of shake-ups. So it's a bit of a power play for territory, really. Lost Care RPG, think for the raid.
Ugh. Thanks. With that, Tento's just gonna keep walking around.
So, do you think there is a room for negotiations, or is...
No, certainly, but I suppose that depends on who I'm negotiating with. The priest of the temple above, upon realizing that the Undercroft is overrun with vampires who have desecrated the altars of his god, I suspect there will not be a lot of room for negotiation. However, I haven't been destroyed yet, so that tells me that you're the talkative types.
Yeah.
Well, you're not really going to us.
So who will I be
Cutting in
dealing
and out
with?
We can get you in the room, but
Are you gonna?
are you confident that you can represent your organization?
Well, I'm fairly high-ranking, and now that everybody else, well, dead or in the wind.
Can I incite the high-ranking part?
Yeah.
Yeah. Out of curiosity, how often do you want us to be rolling insight for stuff? Because I don't want to just bombard you with insight rolls.
That's valid. I mean, I will say your general read on him with the 15 is that, like, he's not necessarily lying about the high ranking. That's what I'm doing. This guy was tasked with, like, security stuff. He wasn't, like, decision-making influential, but, like, in a certain hierarchical sense, he had some rank, and he might be about to use that to try and make some plays if he does the negotiating.
Yeah, he made decisions, but he was trusted.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's Marcaria. And yeah, so the vampire looks at you and says, "So, what room am I going to? With whom will I be conversing?"
We'll have to get you upstairs for that to continue that part of the discussion. Because I honestly don't know exactly who will be in the room where it happens. But
Nice.
Hey,
you will
do
be
know-
talking. Sorry, go ahead.
I do know that their main concern is for there to not be any more murders. Also, or what was it? Like drinking? Is it drinking of like involuntary like drinking of blood?
Yeah. So
And
like you
also
can't like take
other
like,
vampires.
you can't take blood from people who don't want it, and you can't make vampires new vampires. Marcaria says, well, the right to create new vampires was tightly regulated in the Daughters of Zacalaris. It was part of the basis of our power-sharing agreement. So, not much change there.
Also,
and as for the blood, well, all criminals are judged on an individual basis. It is, of course, illegal to assault someone and liberate them of their vital fluids.
Liberate them of the vital fluid.
Where did all of these, all of
All of the blood.
Oh, are you guys cutting off? Hello?
Hey. Hello.
Okay,
So
Hello.
you there?
Okay, no, okay. Just want to make sure, because you said all the blood and did nothing.
Yeah, I'm kind of.
I heard Lonnie say, "Where did all of?" And
Yeah.
I was not sure what was said.
All of the blood in these containers, where'd they come from?
And Marcaria says, "Well, I was not necessarily in charge of acquisitions. However, I do believe that they had their own personal supplies, being that they were very high-ranking, and some of it was tributed by the various organizations. I can tell you that Pelton favored the blood of those with certain abilities." And he kind of looks at the fact that your staff is glowing red with the blood and says, "Particularly those prone to premonitions. Oracles, if you will."
Wait, there's others?
And he says,
I mean, there.
and
Eyebrow
Marcaria,
raised with
Mar-
my obvious eyebrow that exists, Lonnie.
Marcaria says without missing a beat, "Oh, why, of course, there are several. Various entities hand out such a privilege and a right. If they are, in fact, deriving from some entity and not something else. Always hard to say. Always an element of upselling the market."
So you mentioned what was her name? Aqualaris is back.
Abrota Acalaris, indeed. Yes, in the dead flesh. She has been seen. She's appeared. She has proven beyond a doubt that she is herself. And
She incited this change. Is she looking to
well,
be against any kind of negotiation you come forth with?
I do not believe she made it quite clear she was not looking to take charge of the organization. And I only eavesdropped on some of the conversation, being that I was supposed to be guarding it, not eavesdropping. But I still gave it the old Agora try. So, let's see if you can get someone out of here. So you look up the hole, and people look down at you, and like the priest has appeared at this point, and he says, "What goes on down there?" And it's Teleton Barchiades. What goes on down there?
Is he really just like yelling down the fucking 90 feet drop hole?
Yeah, he's looking. He's like, "What the fuck just happened? This is the middle of my fucking temple. Why is there a hole in it?"
Well, get us out
Zion, yell
first.
back, "I told you so."
get us out first, and then I'll tell you what happened. Unless you want
Okay.
me to yell.
He
Listen
says, he looks down and sees blood and everything everywhere, and he says, "My goodness, we are overrun. What is this, demons?"
Do you want me to yell what it is?
Yes.
Vampires, you fuck.
Oh, the holy light of day shall drive them back. We will bring you rope. And there is a bunch of clap.
How much rope do you have?
Marcaria says, that doesn't sound too pleasant. Well,
Those
No.
aren't
No,
The
just open
people-
the fucking door.
those aren't the people that you need to deal with.
They'll probably have a say in the conversation, but they won't.
Tentos just looking at him like, "What are you doing with rope? Open the fucking door." Sorry, go on.
Those will be the people that you'll be talking to directly, but they will have an influence in the conversation.
There is someone here who felt coerced into all of this, so have some time to make your peace with him first before he has his say on his
Marcaria
testimony.
says, well, I think that in the end you'll find that a causal chain of coercion leads to many events.
You guys do remember that guy trying to help was working with them in the first place, right?
It didn't seem necessarily voluntary,
I'm
or
pretty sure it was voluntary.
or he was bribed
Which
into
person
it.
are you talking about?
What's his
Vernos.
face?
Vernos?
Vernos,
Yeah.
This guy right here.
I mean, he knew, but yeah. Effectively, he was
kinda-
blackmailed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounded more like a
It
hey.
did? Okay.
Here's
Yeah.
a choice.
Yeah,
Wink.
Markarian says, "Oh yes, Verdnos, the apprentice. Yes, he looked where he ought not because he is a furtive scholar, and well, let's just say that pains over the years have been taken to erase certain knowledge. But a diligent scholar can see the signs of erasure and track the wake of the deletion, shall we say. He got too close to the truth. He was made an offer he couldn't refuse. I can vouch for the fact that he only did all of this under duress, of course.
That would certainly help your kids.
Indeed.
Can I do one final check to see how serious he is about negotiations, or is he just
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah,
stall and
more
get out of here?
insight.
At this point, has Bless worn off?
No.
I don't need it.
Yeah, so
Nice.
he legitimately is willing to negotiate. He thinks that he can get some people to accept that he has done the negotiations, but he knows he can't bring everyone in line, and that's why he said his earlier thing about, well, of course, any illegal act, blah, blah, blah. More or less to say that, like, you know, people are still gonna, like, forcibly feed on people sometimes, and it's gonna be up to, you know, someone else to stop it. Because
Yeah.
people do crime, and he can't stop all of it.
So, I'm gonna raise a hand for a handshake.
He says, "Oh, is this a new custom? Forgive me, I'm a man out of time."
Well, there was a weird belt buckle phase, but no, we just handshake now. I flick away the vampiric touch, and
All right. He tentatively takes your hand, kind of shakes it, but like left and right, because he
That's
doesn't
a
know.
bitch.
He doesn't know what way he's.
and I like, I guess not really whisper, but like I mentioned, like, do keep in mind, the higher ranking officers aren't quite dead.
And
But
he says,
if you can hold power, and you can help your organization to comply and agree with negotiations, then we won't hunt the rest of you down.
he nods and says, "I understand we are in a delicate position. I get the sense, if you have such wide-ranging authority, that you may be working for, not the Empire. They would have kicked in the door with arbiters and summoned beasts. Oh, I take it you work for the Annex. Am I wrong?"
We're working for a smaller scale than what you were expecting, but yes, something along those lines. But
Very well.
tell
then.
me honestly, do you think Gorana would is the negotiation type, is the diplomatic type?
Well, any vampire will choose negotiation over oblivion. But she was
But we
perhaps...
need this negotiation to stick. This just can't be talk for one day and war the next.
She's gung-ho about violence, but if you have the proper means to compel her, she could be convinced off of her current course of action.
How
Which
likely
one
is
was
that?
the one that escaped? I thought it
Pelton?
was Peloton.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
Pelton just like straight up escaped. Falmos, I mean, you watched Falmos get eaten by the three Galgairs, and
Gorana
Gorana
missed his impact fully.
is in the bag.
Almost is the one that took blood specifically from oracles.
Pelton
Pelton.
is the one who
Peloton.
specifically
Oh,
took,
okay.
and
So
he's
the one that
who
got away.
Ah,
gonna be
I guess
hunting
that's
you.
kind of
Yeah, Zion's gonna be in this corner here, trying to, with the mango out, trying to collect the mist into a vial.
I don't
Alright.
suppose you know of a way to contact the Prota.
No, I didn't even. I wasn't even invited to the formal meeting. I just barely got to see her. I didn't get the sense that she was intending to plant roots, more that she was traveling through, finding the fate of this place all very quaint. I think she had a grander agenda. She was
You
interested in retrieving her effects from some ancient sub-city or other.
Do you know where that place is?
He says, I could make an educated guess, but I didn't hear the full conversation.
I just
And
think
this
some
guess
of us.
is?
And he says, well, she had thought that there would be based on what she had heard, she believed that there could still be a preserved location with some of her effects. Which, based on what I know, only really makes sense if it is in the sub-city of Xylorode. There is an extensive sub-city abutting the modern sewer. Various layers of street are buried beneath the top stone.
So, how likely is it for Pelton to come back and try to hold power again?
Pelton prefers to move through proxies. When you denied him his entourage, you put him on the back foot. He does not like being on the back foot. While he initially responded with rage, he obviously retreated when he had the fate of potentially relearning mortality. So he withdrew. I think that he's probably going to go somewhere and gather power. He will then make his next move.
And sorry, I don't know if you answered this, but Gorana, do you have an idea of a way to convince her? Something that could sway her judgment?
Well, to be quite frank, keeping her in a position where she has no alternative is probably your best way to ensure compliance.
Unfortunately, I don't think compliance by force is something we want. By we, I mean you and me here.
It is, well, compliance by force is messy, but I suppose in every state there is the implication of violence for those who break the law.
There's a threat of violence, but compliance by force is how, to my understanding, how all of this is happening. Because of the
shrugs.
compliance by force.
Also, which one was the none of those three was the one that we like burned, like that we almost killed.
Earlier, it was this guy. This guy withdrew and then was giving them the report when you came in.
Okay,
The guy that
never
we're talking
mind.
to is the guy that picked you up that one time.
Okay.
Yeah.
The one that got hit by Dawn once.
Never
or
mind.
something.
Okay.
Yeah, Markarian is before you, and he says yes. So, I believe that if you wanted to convince Gorana to engage in diplomacy,
Compliance by force is not sustainable. We are not. We want something that will stick.
indeed, all of this tension and dynamism has been bad for stability. As for sticking, I suppose it depends on who Gorana is doing business with. If they were a particularly Dagorian individual who had some cultural claims to greatness, perhaps she could see herself as a wizened advisor.
Okay. Well, this sounds very promising. As you guess, I did say we need to go upstairs, but apparently there's a crowd and a lot of people that hate you,
Well,
and most of the people down here.
most of them probably don't know I exist, but I'm sure they will shortly.
As long as you're willing to work with us, I'm quite how you.
But you cut out in the end there, Casey?
Cut out the band.
I'm willing to keep quiet about how you took some of my blood without my permission.
Makarian
You're
says,
willing to comply with us.
I
If
appreciate
you want revenge, I can take his life essence instead.
I appreciate
Looks
the
like-
gesture. Let's let bygones be bygones. After all, compliance through force is no way to do business. So,
Though we never got to finish that rematch, but we'll save that for another day.
another day. So, I can crawl into a sarcophagus and wait for this all to blow over while you wait outside, and then you can take me to whoever I'm supposed to deal with. That way, no one has to see me, and I don't step out in the sun. As for
Out of
treating
curiosity,
with...
can you step out in the normal sun or not really? Or do
he
you
says,
stay down here?
Yeah, there's now ropes beginning to like flap outside, and there's lots of soldiers standing around.
Why
Um,
are you using? It's a 90-foot drop. Open the fucking door.
And
They
he
actually, I don't
calls-
think they can.
He calls back
actually.
down and he says, "There is some curse upon the door. We're having to summon one capable of breaking it. I myself am writing the ritual. Where is my Where's Verdnos? I need his assistance in researching rituals." And Verdnos kind of says, "I'm here. It's complicated." He says, "Oh, of course, went down with them." And
Yes.
Markarian says, "Yes, well, the situation is obviously very complicated as it develops, but I put my faith fully in your care. Deliver me where you will, and we can have our negotiation."
He's
I will.
going to. Oh,
Sorry, I will fill in Vernon about the tidbit that we talked about, how Mercury was gonna vouch for him, that he was unwilling and forced
All right.
to help alleviate his guilt and crime,
Yeah. Virgil
and
says,
to not start talking about everything freely that we're
Of course.
trying to get negotiations going.
But I must confess before the Thelaton what I have done. I cannot mislead Barcades even longer.
Do whatever you must for your own sake.
By the way, I'm
Well,
assuming
for the
we
sake
hear
of-
like glass breaking as the Machine of No Name continues to punch all of the blood vessels.
Yeah, no, that's
Yep.
fine.
Yep.
Yeah, no.
I mean, it's not like there's DNA testing.
Are the other guys like? Is this guy like wondering? The people who are looking down. Why is this robot breaking all these containers of blood?
I mean, there's lots of questions that are being shouted around the 90-foot gap.
Bonnie's gonna tell the Gogglers, like, don't attack. Don't attack any more vampires unless they attack you. But keep an eye on this one.
The Galgir.
Unless if he's trying to leave without an escort.
The Galgir say, "We will guard this one well." Guard, and also the altars, and to go back to make sure this is all going to plan. Yeah, and some Galgir in the south are fighting various, ghosts, whites, whatever pops out. Like there's some.
Wait, what about the
undead
theater
coming out.
kids?
The theater kids
What
are
if-
fine. They're
Oh,
all
okay.
As long as the theater kids
Oh,
are
no,
okay.
They're
Kids.
also undead. Like,
The
I know,
undead,
I was like, will
the
the theater
Galgir,
kids
the,
be
Ga-
okay?
the Galgir don't attack the ones that were kind of like hanging out being dead. They attack the ones deployed by the daughters Acaleris to like fight.
Okay, as long as
yeah.
we also save them from the priests incoming.
Yeah. So
But
all
I-
of this
I-
happens, and the curse is unsealed eventually by the Thelaton, finding the right incantation and like
Fucking, how are they gonna pull fucking Zion up with some rope? It's a 90 feet drop. They're gonna drop his ass and it's gonna die.
No, he's gonna pull like 5 people down with him.
Oh yeah,
They're
he's
gonna die.
It's gonna. You're right.
Body count by sheer body weight.
Don't forget Zion. Assuming Zion took feather levitate.
yeah.
That might
Yeah.
actually be fine. Everyone
just-
else though.
Zion's got fucking ethereal in this. Like he's
Oh,
fine.
yeah,
It's
right,
fine.
That's not a
True.
one-time thing. Yeah, Zion's gonna
Oh
be
my
fine.
gosh,
It's the others I'm
Zion
worried
would
about.
That would be so fine. You're right. I do need to worry about the people. Oh.
Yeah. All right.
so. Whoa. So okay, you guys are here for like a time, right? The door gets opened up and there's a lot of footsteps. Soon there's like lots of hoplites pouring in. The Thelaton is here and saying Verdnos, and Verdos runs up and says, "I must confess, I have done something terrible." And Woby Salt walks in and says, nothing like a confession. And, Woby Salt seems to be here flanked by lots of people. There's like dozens of dudes with spears flooding into the area. Spears out, they're not sure what's up with the Galgair or the vampires, they're in position. And, Woby Salt says, "Of course, Thelaton, why don't you handle your acolyte's confession while I talk with some passers-by who seem to have come in here earlier, following up on rumor."
Yeah, they're in the other room.
And
You're one of those people.
yeah,
that
and
they need
Woby
to talk
Salt
to.
looks to you and says, "Perhaps you could join me." So Woby Salt comes in here.
He just sighs like, damn it.
Have you guys like bid Markarian into his coffin yet, or is he still standing?
I think you can go to his coffin, but I'm not gonna leave his side unless like directly asked.
All right, so he's
Oh,
coffined up, but you're watching.
I mean, I did ask the guard girl to also guard the coffin.
Yeah, so the
Oh no,
Galgair
yeah,
is
I
in-
want help, but
Zion,
I want to make sure that
Zion's gonna shake a vial of mist.
Who's this tiefling?
You have a vial of mist, and yeah, Woby Salt walks in. Casual reminder: Woby Salt is more or less is one of Eliana Kirkos's harem members and the most spy mastery of them all. You received a warning that people had taken note of your movements, signed WBS.
That's what those
Warner Bros.
initials were.
Yeah, so Woby Salt comes in, looks around. And wait, what do you say? So Zion is like swirling like a vial of mist. And actually, you know what the vial of mist says inside of it? It says 12:30.
fuck you.
So, yeah, Woby Salt has come in and says, "Well, I think that wants to talk." I think that's it for tonight, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Kai, are you still here?
Yeah.
Hit me with it. Feedback phase.
Yeah, it's nice to get back into the thick of things. Yeah, nice long combat right as we get back. Yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed the blood containers and the mechanics that they had. Overall, great session. Well, there's still some things we need to iron out in terms of, combat rules and Sentinel, whatnot.
Yeah, I looked up like a whole Reddit thread on this specific ruling, and I was down like there's so much to fucking consider with it. Something standard combat rules, especially Sentinel plus.
They're not consistent with terminology enough to be a consensus.
Yeah.
So, all right. So some things to iron out: re-combat rules, especially Sentinel and other forms of escapes. Yeah.
And I look forward to seeing what comes next.
Yeah. All right. With that,
Hey, this guy said it's nice to get back into it. I have missed this. I'm glad Kibancho's not dead. It got real close at some points.
Sleep is fine.
At multiple points. It's also nice to play the character at a higher level now that like I'm not used to it. So like I'm pretty sure every concentration check I was like a few turns behind. But hopefully I can get better at staying on top of things, and I do appreciate you being flexible about about us being a little rusty on things and being patient with us.
yeah.
And I don't know how much of a time skip we're gonna have, or if there is gonna be one to move us from this, I guess, quest to the next one.
You mean between Ischydonian Knights and the next thing, or do you mean like where you are right now and like the next dungeon?
Yeah,
I intend to like more or less
because
walk
I
it through,
remember
like,
we have a
normal,
list
like,
of like things that we were wanted to like tackle.
I think you're gonna go back upstairs and like either handle the negotiations or, to your preference, hand off the negotiations. Like more or less be like, hey, Woby Salt, like this is the closest thing to an emissary we've got. We beat their ass. We have a prisoner. We took one out. One got away. Or I don't know how much you can tell them, but you know.
Yeah. I think my preference would be like we start that conversation, but we hand it off.
Yeah. So you start the conversation, you hand it off, and you move on, maybe influencing how it's going to go. And yeah, other than
I'm
that,
excited for that conversation and
yeah.
moving on because we've been here for a hot second, and I kind of itching to be in different environments. See,
Not the Undercroft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And getting more
I like the
opportunities to
Undercroft,
use
though.
like all of our new stuff,
Yeah.
or at least all of my new stuff, because a lot of my stuff is
Shin,
different.
it's not all about you, all right, man?
Yes, it is. Okay, I'm the protagonist that keeps coming back, even though people don't want me. I'm still around.
Amazing.
No, you're the side character that no one likes.
Oh, God.
Wow. So, yeah.
Yamcha.
Yamcha!
Oh my god.
Yeah, he's like around. No one likes him, but he's around. He was cool in the first, like in Dragon Ball, but now he's just like a joke.
But that's my 2 cents.
All right. So, Darren.
Hi, glad to be back at this. That was a lot of fun. We started off with a cool fight. I'm glad Tento just has like powerful radiant weapons, because that definitely, God, they have a lot of HP.
Yeah, and you were able to chew through it.
That was, thank God, sneak attack takes on the attribute of the attack and not some other damage type. Whew, that's great.
Yeah, you fucking almost killed Pelton. You got out of here with like 9 HP.
I was really close. I thought about chasing after Pelton, but now I was like, there are 2 more here. I can't just chase one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also the whole mist thing is really annoying. So
Yeah, that too.
I feel like I could have played Foremost more aggressively and changed this whole session, but
Yeah. I was trying to get them a bit closer to the center of the fucking thing, but none of them got close to me, unfortunately. So I just dropped it on 2. Other than that, can't wait to see what's next. I'm excited to see what the other. I need to double check again what the fuck our other missions are, but I'm excited to see what you have for those. And I think that's about it for me.
all right.
Yeah.
Well then. Casey at the bat. What do you think, Casey?
good session. Yeah, good job on stuff. The glass sound effect was, especially after you actually figure out
Oh, you're cutting it out a little?
years. The glass sound effect was very cool. especially after you figured out how to not kill our ears with it.
Warriors.
Mhm.
And yeah, it was a fun puzzle, like trying to figure out which of these corridors is the one we need, stuff like that, and
God, there's so much
how
of this dungeon you guys
to
didn't see.
Oh,
and
is
how
there?
to deny
That
them the
sucks.
blood and stuff. Yeah, we did kind of like beeline towards certain spots.
I mean, I'm sure you can repurpose it for something else.
But
Probably.
yeah, and I don't know. The stage seemed fun. Would have been very nice to. Oh shit! There's a ton of people here. I don't know. Yeah, like just the stage was cool. Like, hey, like how do you deny them extra power and stuff like that? Got to see like cool new abilities that people don't usually pull out. And I'm very sad that I didn't get to try out Dawn in here because maybe people won't actually stand in Dawn this time unless they're the enemy. But
Maybe you won't drop down your allies.
I was expecting you guys to move out. But yeah, and the whole stage looks very nice. So,
Yeah. Okay, so you like the map. It's
Yeah.
it's